Welcome, everyone. We will begin in a few moments. Hello, everyone. I'm David Woodward. I'm Director of Global Sales for Relais Chateaux. I'm based in New York City, and I'd like to thank you all for participating in our virtual trade show this week. This is the second edition of our virtual trade show. The first one we held last May, before as much of the world had reopened because of the COVID pandemic. We decided this year to have a second edition to focus a little differently than we did in the first edition. The first edition was around the world. This one is focused particularly on the Southern Hemisphere, so our hotels of Latin America, of Africa, and of Oceania, and also some of our new member hotels that have joined the association or opened within the last year that you may not have that much experience with. So I always like to start with just a little overview about Relais Chateaux as a brand. And our story did begin in France in 1954. There was a group of 8 hotels that joined together, and they formed the very first Route du Bonheur, or Road to Happiness. You know, this was 1954. The car was becoming more and more important, and Parisians would take their car and drive south towards the Côte d'Azur. And these 8 hotels realized that they had a lot in common when it came to hospitality and when it came to cuisine. And the Route du Bonheur's idea was that you would be in your car and you would drive to one. You would experience a restful overnight stay. You would experience a great meal. And then you would move on to the next hotel, and thus traveling down towards the south. To this day, Relais Chateaux is still all about itinerary travel throughout the world. So to recap, we started with the Route du Bonheur along the N7 between Paris and Nice in 1954. In 1974, 3 separate associations merged to form what is now called Relais and Chateaux. In 2014, just a few years ago, it was our 60th anniversary, and at that point we had 530 hotels, and we also presented the Relais Chateaux vision to UNESCO in Paris, to how we would like to help build a better world. And today, we have 580 unique hotels and restaurants throughout the world. It is important to also always remember we are an association of not only hotels, but of standalone restaurants. So just a little recap where we are. As we did begin in France, we are still heavily in Europe. 27% of our members are in France. Another 34% are in the rest of Europe, excluding France. 14% in North America, 6% in South America, and another 10% in Asia and Oceania. So we are on 6 continents in 65 countries around the world. One of the most striking statistics I always like to quote is the fact that we have 380 Michelin stars. No other organization in the world has that many Michelin stars. With 580 properties, 80 of them are standalone restaurants without rooms. And it's important to remember that we are a family organization. We are a not-for-profit association. So every member, hotel and restaurant, is a voting member and a shareholder of the association. And since we are all independent hotels and restaurants, it's a very unique collection. They range from many of our European hotels are historic sites. Many of them are unconventional. Some are modern. Some are very traditional. We have ski chalets, city hotels. We have safari camps throughout the world, ryokans in Japan, ranches in the United States, estancias in Argentina, riads in Morocco, and some beautiful, beautiful seafront destinations. So one of the questions I'm often asked is, what does it take to be a Relais Chateau? And there are basic things that the department in Paris that controls our membership looks for. They must be human-sized properties. On average, our hotels are only about 30 rooms. They also must all have an innkeeper spirit. One of the things that I think really sets us apart from other hotels is that we call our hotels and restaurants maisons, which is house, home, and you are made to feel at home in our hotels around the world. Cuisine is always one of the most important things with Relais Chateaux. It's supposed to be sustainable and authentic to the place. So it's not only delicious to eat, but it should be good for the people and the planet. And that brings us to the sustainability that our commitment, Relais Chateaux, is for a better world. And so we stand for our values, which are local anchorage, family spirit, and authenticity. As I mentioned, we did present our vision to UNESCO. And our Vice President, Olivier Boulanger, has a great quote that I love to repeat, and it's, "The plate must reflect a sense of place. What's the point of drinking the same wine or eating the same food all over the world?" That is what Relais Chateaux is about. So we're very united in the challenges that the world has today. 41% of our hotels, amazingly, are located at UNESCO World Heritage Sites. 58% of all the products that are on our menus come from local farming. The farm to table movement was part of Relais Chateaux long before it became a buzzword throughout the hospitality industry. 43% of our hotels use renewable energy in their energy mix, and 60% of all the fishing is from sustainable sources. And I just have some examples of how our network has some great pioneers around the world. So one great example is 11 Madison Park here in New York City. It is a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and it is the first Michelin 3-star restaurant to go entirely meatless. Secret Bay, a beautiful resort on Dominica, fosters a coral reef restoration program. Pacaya Lodge, which is on Santa Cruz Island in the Galapagos Islands of Ecuador, has planted over 20,000 trees in a reforestation effort. Sol y Luna in the Sacred Valley of Peru exists purely to fund the local schools that are home to over 200 students. The hotel exists to take care of indigenous children. And Nelson Mandela called Londolozi, one of our beautiful camps in South Africa, the future of nature preservation in South Africa. And Mirazor, which is another Michelin 3-star Relais Chateaux restaurant in the south of France, is the first restaurant in the world to achieve plastic-free certification. And 100 of the Relais Chateaux properties have their own apiaries. So they offer honeybee sanctuary with great living conditions in order to protect the bees. RelaisChateaux.com is your best resource about the brand. Every one of our members has 5 separate web pages that give you detailed information. We basically house mini websites for every one of our hotels and restaurants. It's in multiple languages throughout the world, and it gives you all the information necessary and the images required to make the best decision for your clients. Our travel agent portal, which you can register in on our website. If you go to the very bottom of our website, there's a button to say call travel agent. If you have not registered, I encourage you to do so. You just need your email address and your IATA number, and then you have access to exclusive content, including detailed commission information. You have the ability to create quotes that can be downloaded to PDFs to send to your clients. And you can also use this portal to book these itineraries, to book individual stays directly with the IATA automatically attached. We also have some great apps that are available for iPad, iPhone, and for Android, which is basically putting a Relais Chateaux guide in your pocket, which has some wonderful mapping features, and it's 24 hours a day available to no matter where you are, as long as you have your phone or iPad. I want to wrap this up by just mentioning our 42,000 staff members worldwide. Without them, it wouldn't be possible to give the excellent hospitality that the brand guarantees for your valued clients, our guests. And thank you. And please enjoy visiting, networking with our members throughout the next few days. And we look forward to seeing you either in an in-person event or at one of our hotels very soon. Thank you for coming, and we hope that you enjoy the week.